What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some basketball. This NBA draft is approaching, so we're going to break down a couple of players before this NBA draft. I'm going to give y'all some names, some people, and give y'all my evaluation of how I feel about this player. So the first player we're going to talk about is the center, Deandre Ayton out of Arizona. Deandre Ayton is 7 foot, 260 pounds, center out of Arizona. For most people, he is the consistent number one overall pick. I know some people might think that Phoenix has the number one pick, might go with Luka Doncic. And some people think that Luka Doncic is a better player. But for the most part, since mid to late January, it's been the consensus that Deandre Ayton was going to be the number one overall player took in this draft. So let's talk about him. The guy, from watching this tape, the guy is offensively skilled. As most people y'all know, I am an Orlando Magic fan. I'm about to say something, when I first say it, y'all, it's going to strike y'all kind of strange, but bear with me, I'm going to explain what I mean by that. He reminds me of Dwight Howard. And I know most of you are like, Dwight Howard is not a scorer. Dwight Howard doesn't have post moves. I know that. I'm talking about body type. I'm talking about those big shoulders, like able to manhandle people. Like, because Dwight could do that. Dwight Howard just didn't have no post moves. Dwight Howard had big shoulders. He was a big stocky guy. The same thing. That's what when you first see DeAndre Ayton, that's the first thing that you see and notice. Now, let's talk about his offensive skills. He averaged 20 points, 20.1 points per season. This season, he averaged 11.6 rebounds. His field goal percentage was 61%. He shot 34% from 3, and his free throw percentage is 70%. So offensively, he's way better than Dwight Howard could ever dreamed of. But the knock on him is his defense, and he draws comparisons to Jahlil Okafor coming out of Duke, but he's a better offensive player than Jahlil Okafor, and his problem with defense is really, I want to say, kind of slightly effort, but because you look at his body type, because like I say, he has I said this back to the comparison with Dwight Howard. But if you look at his body type, you expect him to be more dominant in defense, like Dwight Howard. That was Dwight Howard's calling card. Dwight Howard could block, he could rebound, which DeAndre can rebound, but he's not getting the block, say like Mo Bamba out of Texas, who looks like Dikembe Mutombo while he's out there blocking, and I don't think he ever did the no, but he has that type of skill set, like Embiid has that type of skill set. So you look at DeAndre Ayton, you expect him, look at that body type. He should be able to dominate on the defensive end. He should be able to dominate the post. He should be a rim protector. He should be rejecting shots, so forth and so forth. He should be that dominant. He's just not. I'm thinking that he was just more focused on scoring offense. I think when he gets into the league, I don't expect him to be a defensive player of the year by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm just saying, I think he will be a better defender when he gets to the league. I really do. I think he'll be a better defender because his body type calls for him to be a better defender. The way he calls to be a better defender, we just haven't seen it yet. So I wouldn't be too concerned about him defensively. Because I do think he will be a good dominant in the post on the offensive end. And I mean, if you watch the Pelicans, if you watch Philadelphia, when the team has a dominant post scorer, it's kind of hard to defend that. Most NBA teams can't defend the post. Most NBA teams don't have a center to defend the post. So if you can score in the post, that's one of the reasons why the Magic were able to make it to the finals with Dwight Howard. At that time, Dwight Howard did not have a post game, but he was better offensively than he was towards his later years, like in LA and in Houston. He was better in Orlando, and the team was built more around him. But it's harder to defend the post when you don't have no post presence at all. So I do think if you put him in the right situation, he's fine. Like I said, he's consistent number one overall pick. So the teams that more likely would get him would be either Phoenix, pairing him up with Devin Booker, pairing him with Josh Jackson. You could possibly do something. Booker can score like anybody, like Booker. That's Booker's calling card is him scoring as well. So that would be a nice offensive team. You know, you got Jackson, the athlete, able to defend. If Phoenix decided to go with Luka Doncic, I think they hired one of Luka Doncic's coaches. If Phoenix decided to go that route, Sacramento, the second pick, Sacramento would take DeAndre Ayton, and then you have De'Aaron Fox. That's something that they need. Like that's something that I think. To be honest, I think it's just me personally. I think Sacramento needs DeAndre Ayton more than Phoenix does. I think that Sacramento could definitely use DeAndre Ayton more than Phoenix does. Now, a wild card, another team who can end up with him would be Minnesota. Now, I know Minnesota doesn't have, if I'm not mistaken, I don't even think Minnesota has a first round pick at all, let alone have a lottery pick. They're able to pick in the top 3. But, you know, Phoenix, Devin Booker has stated that this is his last year missing the playoffs. He's not missing the playoffs no more. That's what he says. So I think if Devin Booker misses the playoff again, Devin Booker's going to try to find his way out of Phoenix. You also see the rip between Cat and Minnesota, which they made the playoffs, but it's been. I think that's more so with Tom Thibodeau. I think the real rip is between him and Tom Thibodeau. So if they decide to trade if they decide to trade Cat to Phoenix for that number 1 overall pick, then the Timberwolves have no choice but to draft DeAndre. They can't go out there and draft Luka Doncic. They have to draft DeAndre Ayton. So that would be, you know, then you have DeAndre Ayton, you have Andrew Wiggins and Malcolm Butler. I couldn't think of my Butler name. Like, so again, and also with Tom Thibodeau, he would have to play defense because that's something that Tom Thibodeau preaches is defense. Even though I think that they were a bad defensive team this year, but that's something when he was in Chicago he preached was defense. So I do think if you put him in that situation, he'll be a better defender, and then also his offensive skills that he has as being an offensive post presence would be more viable. So, like I said, I think the team that need him the most is Sacramento, in my personal opinion. I think that's the team that need him the most. If I'm picking today, I think he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I do think, as of right now, he's the best player in the draft. Does not mean 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now that he's going to be the best player. Like when we look back at the draft, he was the best player because that could be Trae Young, it could be Michael Porter Jr., it could be Mbamba, it could be Luka Doncic, it could be Bagley. Any of those players can end up. All those players have the potential to be the best player in the draft when you look at it 4 or 5 years from now. But as of right now, when the NBA season starts on draft night, and when the NBA season starts, DeAndre Ayton is going to be the best player, more than likely. So I do think that he should be the number 1 overall pick. This is my personal opinion. But like, share, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below if you haven't. Click that bell to get more videos. I got more breakdowns and more players coming soon. I holla.